Right.
Tuesday.
We've just been to fit some more bed sheets which turned up yesterday. Obviously every year we just put things like new mattress protectors on and stuff. Plan what we're going to do actually in Ultraflex. Obviously we're going to train, but we're going to go meet Kuba, so what we're going to say to him, because we're going to do a little hour interview with him, which I think is going to be really good. We're going to ask him. Kuba's obviously very well known for being a coach, and of all the interviews that I've seen with him, it's always been about his coaching and not really much about his business, which he's doing very, very well as a coach. So from the point of view of you other coaches out there that are watching this, I'll try and get some insight from him and how he's grown his brand and his kind of his business up from scratch. Property wise today, I don't think we've got a lot left to do actually. I've got to go pick up some letters from another house we've got a lot of ominous looking letters, because obviously when the students move out, we'll have the council letters, council tax letters and stuff like that, which we need to deal with, start coming through. So there's a few piles of letters that I need to go and collect.
Do you reckon I throw the drone up real fast and just fucking get some cool shots?
Yeah, do it right in the car park, mate.
There you go.
Elliot's behind the camera. Good better shots than Jake. It's easy when you've got a nice lens.
Yeah, man.
Got the legs. Move back a bit. Yeah, that's it. Tense. Nice.
Representing
Ultraflex. New car's getting wrapped. Pretty excited. Good day. Good day.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you, man.
Yeah. We opened before Ultraflex.
Oh,
Ultraflex opened in 2018, first one, and then they opened the second one in Normanton, and this was the third one for the gym. If this was in Manchester, which obviously we've got plans to do that, but
I was going to say, you don't open anymore.
Yeah, if this was in a different area, it would have been absolutely clean. But because it's here, it's all a bit harder. It still does well. Do you know what I mean? It still does well.
Do you do this instead of like investing in properties or other stuff? Is this more of a priority for you?
To be honest, mate, definitely going to get into property. I've already got two.
HMOs? Or how,
I'm renting one out, but it's just top minutes. So.
How are you juggling bodybuilding and business?
Not easy, mate. Just keeping a good routine.
Yeah, I know, but like, do you have one that's slightly more of a priority? Because look, for me, of a day, I'm like a glorified firefighter. Yeah. So I wake up every day and like, I'll have my plan to go to the gym at a certain time. I have my food. Back in the day, when I was a bit more obsessed with training, I would have dropped meetings to make sure I hit my gym. Because if it meant like I had a day or two where I didn't train or whatever else, that would be an option. For me now, business is first. Is there one that's like slightly more prominent than the other?
So there's two perspectives for me. Bodybuilding will always be the one that's priority, but business has actually allowed my bodybuilding to be better because I'm more regimented and disciplined.
Okay.
So I think both have had a massive positive effect. Like some people say, you should just focus on bodybuilding and just do that. But for me, if I was just to sit at home all day and do nothing, mate, I would be fucking crackers. I won't be happy. I won't be happy to do that. So for me, it's like before I got busy and before I was doing what I'm doing now, my routine was fucking shocking. I'd wake up whenever I want, I'd go to bed whenever I want, and it just used to be all over the place. So because it was so all over the place, I don't think I was maximising my recovery with bodybuilding, my training with bodybuilding. Now, every single day is like regimented and scaled to a T.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Let's say a business opportunity came up that was going to make you a significant amount of money, right? Let's say it came along, and then it was going to pull back potentially your ability to progress your programs at the rate that you want to right now. Yeah. But it's kind of like wealth that, it's a big opportunity. How do you think I mean, it's hard to say because obviously you're not in that position now.
I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
So that bodybuilding,
Do you know why?
Because you love it?
No. I love bodybuilding for one, but two, bodybuilding has gave me everything I've got.
Right, okay.
So if not
You own
bodybuilding,
something.
yeah, if not bodybuilding, I won't have this. If not bodybuilding,
They have to be interlinked.
yeah, if not bodybuilding, I won't be where I am. I won't have a home. I won't have a house. And my life, if not bodybuilding as well, my life would have been a lot different. Do you know what I mean? So like, for me, it always has to take like the priority from that perspective because of what it gave me and the discipline it gave me to carry over and lead a different life compared to the path I could have gone through. Do you know what I mean?
And how are you going to scale up now? I'm only talking things about me more of a business because I watch your content. I love your stuff. I'm a business man. I'm a business and more importantly, I'm a hobby builder. I love bodybuilding. I love business, but I love bodybuilding. Right? It's more of a lifestyle for me than an actual income. But from a point of view of like now, where's Kuba the brand going to be and how are you going to get there?
Yeah, so definitely the second gym, that'll be a good turning point. Definitely will start reinvesting in property, and with Charlie, he does a lot of investing in the stock market and stuff as well.
Okay.
So definitely with that, because then that way, I'll have even more free time.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, I'm at point where coaching as well now, where I can work with higher end athletes. So I'm not having to scale up so much where I'm working with so many different people to be able to earn a certain figure.
Yeah.
I can work with less and get away with earning more.
That's exactly what I'm doing now. So the idea is I physically can't work anymore.
Yeah.
And you're probably at that same point where it's like, well, I've got 100 units of every day. 100 of those units of energy is being expelled every single day. How do I get more out of those units without actually having to add more on somehow? It's like I can't sleep any less.
Yeah.
I can't. So it's
You won't be happy. You won't be
and
happy
that's
doing
it as well. I think.
You probably could do it. You probably could work more, but you'd be miserable.
Exactly.
That's the thing. It's give or take.
Well, I also think there's a point at which you can overwork this and you can overtrain.
Yeah.
And I've been to that place where I'm like, I'm definitely being counterproductive from work because I haven't given myself enough reprieve or I've been overdoing it. So are you looking to bring more people into the business now?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think I saw in your videos you were talking about essentially scaling, getting away from personal brand a little bit more and looking to kind of use your bed now to build out a kind of team below you.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely the way because like it got to the point where I was getting inquiries every day for like lifestyle coaching. That meant I've not done lifestyle coaching in well like over a year to 2 years. I can't do it because I'm at a different level now. I'm at a different point. Not like in a different level where I'm like, oh, I just want to work at top end athletes, but lifestyle coaching got to the point for me where it was draining me because I did it for so long.
Yeah.
So I did it I started PT when I was like 18. So pretty much started coaching with lifestyle people from that age. And like after 5-6 years of doing the same stuff, it just took the joy out of me. And like working with top end athletes, it doesn't really feel like I'm working. Like, yeah, it's like excitement. Do you know what I mean?
And it builds a brand.
Yeah. So at the moment, definitely trying to build that up. I've got 2 girls working for me now. Obviously, Meg's doing really well as well. But it's just all about getting them on board and getting them to a good place, to be honest.
I was going to say, so what in your life right now? What's the bottleneck? Like, is there something you're struggling to overcome, like to get through, to get to your goals? When you wake up every day, what's the hardest thing you face? Is it if you're not having it?
Right now,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think everything's going so well, but you always think to yourself, like, what do you do from here now to get to that next level without sacrificing what I love? Do you know what I mean? I think that's the main thing, really.
I think for me, the best thing to do. I actually did something the other day that really helped. I've been getting to the point where recently I was like, I'm under so much pressure all the time to keep growing financially. More. My wife said to me, she said, Elliot, what are you doing it for? And what I've been doing with the business side, it was not really the physique side. She was like, you don't have an actual goal. So right now, it's like you're approaching business like you're trying to compete for #1 spot at the Olympia, which I'm not. I'm not trying to beat Bill Gates or Elon Musk or this, that, or the other. But I'm working as though I am. And I actually sat back and was like, if I don't actually have an end goal with really, really objective tasks that I need to hit or goals that I need to hit, how on earth can I actually engineer a life that's going to get there and enable me to actually get to the life that I want to? Because right now, I'm just taking everything I possibly can on, and it feels like this great big weight on your shoulders. So
but without a vision in front as well.
Without the vision, it's just, you're just running. You're like, I'm sprinting, but I don't know where the end goal is, and it just feels like this enormous stress. So from the point of view, I think, if you could say, right, yes, I think you've got a very good idea of what you're looking for bodybuilding. If I can put my financial goals, if you can set your financial goals to the same level you do your bodybuilding goals, and then go, how do I achieve both of these by combining my business and my physique goals together, which I genuinely believe you're doing a fantastic job of, because they work in harmony. Obviously, I mentor a lot of people, and what I always say is, like, use your story to build your brand, and your story to build the tangible assets, the non-tangible assets, and everything else. And what you're doing is incredible. Like the filming you're doing right now, you're networking really well, you're building a legacy and you're building a brand above and beyond yourself through this. So you can do both.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you don't have that financial goal of where you want to be, and also how much passive income are you going to need to get to that goal? Because I'm guessing, I bet your financial goals aren't as set as your physical ones.
It's not more. It's more the goals that, like, it's not really financial. So it's not really a figure that I want to have in mind. It's more the assets. So for me, over the next, pretty much by time I'm 30, I set the goals of having 5 gyms.
Yeah, younger, yeah.
Yeah, so 5 gyms.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I set all that out. So it's like, I think I wrote it down in like a little book that I tend to meetings and stuff. But it was like 5 gyms, and I think it was like 20 properties.
Okay.
And get to the point with my coaching brand where I can just work and scale right back to working with a small number of individuals.
Yeah.
Where I can really put, a lot into that. But at the same time, manage a team under me that can just crack on.
But why 5 gyms and 20 properties?
Why?
Yeah.
That's just like a stepping stone to tick off by the time I'm 30.
Yeah, but is there a financial, is that just completely like arbitrary figure of what you want to hit?
Yeah, but
There's nothing actually behind it.
What do you mean?
That we wouldn't have to hit a certain amount of profit, they wouldn't have to earn your amount. It's literally I just want that number.
The thing is though, if I get the gyms, I know they'll be earning profit anyway.
Right, so you kind of have a rough idea of what they're going to earn.
Okay. So it'll be a similar setup to this, if not better. I think better because of the locations. So the next location that's set is Manchester, and I know when that's set and done, I know that's going to probably do double what this does, simply just down to location of where it is. So that's definitely, that's the next one, and then next year another one. But obviously, to get to that, there's a lot of things that need to step and kind of tick off step by step.
Such as?
Well, keep doing what I'm doing now. Keep doing what I'm doing now.
And your coaching wise, actually, for my viewers, I want to talk to you a little bit about coaching, because obviously everyone comes to me. A lot of the guys that you actually train, I mentor and help build their business.
I think there's about 10 of them.
There's loads. Everyone's like, Kuba trains me. I'm like, right, I need to meet up with Kuba.
There is a lot.
I got to go meet up with Kuba, because you obviously coach a lot of coaches, because that's the caliber you're at. That's kind of your niche. You're like, like you said, high-end people. So if they're coaching other people, you're the coaches of coaches, which is an amazing place to be. But you didn't start there. You just told me when you were 18 you were training lifestyle people.
Oh yeah.
What do you think for the people that are trying to get to where you are? Because obviously a lot of people are inspired by you. What was it that set you apart? I know obviously the consistency of everything else, but what about you got you to where you are? While you see what did they do that you see other people failing at with regard to coaching?
I just stayed relentless with it, mate.
Relentless.
Yeah. So like when I started, obviously it wasn't booming like it is now, but I still managed to kind of make it with it. So initially I was PTing and coaching and working the doors at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was from 18 to 21, and at 21, I think it was like literally 2 weeks before Universe, before doing Junior Universe, I was in a position where I could go full-time coaching.
Right.
And that was back in 2015 when coaching really wasn't in a place where, it was booming, but I was literally relentless with it. So opportunities that came, I took them with both hands, and I over-delivered rather than under-delivering.
Okay, you always over-delivered, Rob.
Yeah.
You went above and beyond.
Yeah, I tried to every single time with every person, because the way I built it up, it was always more like word of mouth. So through people having decent experiences, it just went on from there.
Massively agree with that. And do you think, were you documenting yourself heavily that point as well on social media?
It was regular. So
Regular,
yeah, like with everything I've always done, like since I was like young, like whatever started, I'm always like super consistent with it. It's just the accuracy that's changed. So I'm a lot more accurate with it now, and a lot better with it now.
You understand your target market better. You understand what they want to see. You understand what to put up rather than spinning your wheels.
And more people that I want to attract as well, rather than, you know, like the posts that I make generally. If I'm making a post that, you know, I want to kind of speak to the audience, it's not going to speak much to lifestyle people. It's always going to be more targeted at people that are coaches or are top end competitors.
Have we got anything else to ask about fucking coaching?
I love it. I'm not an interview with that. I like that.
The thing is, I just wanted to talk to you a bit more about stuff that other people hadn't talked to you about, because look, I really rate you as a business person. I don't see you as a bodybuilder, I see you more as a business person. You're a very smart guy. People don't see it. I reverse engineer what everyone's doing. You have to teach people how to do it.
You have to, mate.
Yeah, and I think your personality itself as well, something that in my personal opinion, what's got you to where you are, is if you look at a lot of the big names, they're fucking authentic. Jordan being one of them, right? I've known Jordan for
years.
I don't know how long, but he took no bullshit. He stayed in his own lane. He had a very direct view of who he was coaching. If he didn't like the way he did things, doesn't matter. He always pissed people off in the industry. Like he always said things that were unorthodox, but stuck to his guns. And I think you're the same. You've got a personality which is so kind of, I think it's authenticity. So you're true. You can tell that you believe the shit that you preach, which is massively important. So for anyone else out there, that I see so many people sitting on the fence when I know they have an opinion, and what I do to people all the time is say, look, it's actually okay if you say something that, if you can back up your bullshit and you've got a reason behind saying something, even if you know that 30 other coaches aren't going to agree with it, just say it. You trying to pick because you've seen Kuba posting a video about the way he does a leg press or whatever. If you've got a separate opinion on that, but you have an actual valid reasons for why, because I'm sure he'd say that he'd contradict you if he didn't agree with it, and you sticking to your guns and being authentic, and you always apologise if you're wrong, or like I've changed my mind on this, I try to train slightly differently. That's fine.
Totally. Like even with Jordan, like what we do now has evolved and changed so much over the years.
Especially Jordan.
Yeah, mate, massively. So like, it's a constant improvement, it's constant progression. So what we do now is just constant moving forward and forward. Like, so it's definitely getting better. Like, I think so many people are open-minded enough when it comes to different ideas. And I think this is where a lot of people fail, like, especially bodybuilding and business, really. Like, if you're so closed in on your own way, how are you meant to progress and move forward?
Couldn't agree more.
Like, you need to kind of take away like different bits from different people. Like, even if you don't like them, like, it doesn't matter. If someone's got value to add to you, you should take it with both hands, really.
No one's ever fucking right 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
As soon as you think you're correct all the time, you're failed.
That's when you're done. That's when you're done.
And I always think, like, what's worst case scenario is if you try something that someone else suggests and it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
That's it.
If you're open-minded, and like Jordan more than anyone, I think, has changed his tune with the way he trains.
Massive.
And he's still one of the most renowned coaches on the planet, like, arguably.
Oh yeah.
He solidified that brand, and he's changed his tune every 5 minutes. I see, but he's okay because he sticks to his guns. He tries something, and he's always. I think that's another thing as well. If you are wrong, hold your hands up. Say, okay, maybe I wasn't quite right, but people respect you for that. They want you to be real, and something Kuba does fantastically well is you're very real. Very real.
To be anyway.
Right. I've also noticed as well you're doing a lot more, especially with the videos and stuff. By the way, they've got getting pretty good. Production's gone up a level, but you actually interacting with your clients more, like for example, the posing video. If you're showing, what a lot of people do is when they're sat behind a computer as an online coach, they never actually get out and go and meet the people they're training. Which is why I think a lot of people that hybrid coach, i.e. PT and online coach, when they actually seem to be with a human, you become more trustworthy. When you're being shown in your place of business doing what you do, people go, I trust them. If you're someone that's like putting out great content, but you're never actually seen with a human,
Never thought of that.
How do you actually trust that person? It's a subconscious thing. The trouble is, when you take away a human-to-human interaction, everything becomes cold. So as a marketer, what I try and do is go, and I've done this from e-commerce from day one, I always thought, if I don't have a shop assistant selling a product to a person, how can I make this experience as real as possible so that people trust the process? Because all marketing is simply, it's like someone has a problem, You go, I'm Kuba, I can solve that for you. If they believed you 100%, they would buy from you. The reason they don't is because there's a distrust gap. So as a marketer, a business person, a coach, your content should be always trying to make that distrust smaller and smaller and smaller. So your videos where you're with clients, you've got a room of girls, all right, by the way, enjoyed that day, right? If you've got a room of girls and you're there and you're tweaking it and they're all looking at you for advice and help, everyone's going, oh, he must be trustworthy. They only have to see it. So you've already shrunk their distrust, you validated yourself simply by putting a video up. So if you are a coach and you're working with clients, don't neglect that fact. I work with a guy called Jace. We talked a lot about this. He tries to do every single show, not because, okay, it's nice for the client, but it's nice to be seen with the client. And I know you do a lot of that. You're always with your clients, you're always posing.
Yeah, I don't go to every show, but I'm there with them.
I know you can't do that, but you try your best to be seen with clients.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think you realise how, that's why you suddenly become trustworthy.
Yeah. Do you know what? I never thought of that. That's a really good point, actually. That's a really good point. I did like a client meet here. And that went down really well. But I always try to do something for my clients, you know, something in person, especially like you coach people from everywhere. For that meet, mate, I had people come over from Denmark, from Poland, from everywhere. So that was insane, like that was really
the simple psychology of the fact that people are coming to see Kuba must mean he is desirable. People are sheep. Like if you go to a car boot and there's 30 people stood around the fucking table, everyone wants to see what's on that table. It's the same thing. If there's no hype, there's no bustle around someone, and even if you're not a busy coach, try and look busy. Right, and whatever, however you do that, you need to look like you're desirable. But now you are, and this is the difference. What I say, like you can't always copy what Kuba's doing because he's already got that hype. He's already got those sheep. Well, not sheep. That's probably a bad word. He's already got those people looking at him, talking about him. He's already got and it's the same with bodybuilding. I couldn't go and train like you train. I have to get to where you are before I can train like you can train. You have to kind of stay in your own lane, but understand the concept that got you to where you are. So you built a tremendous amount of trust. So that's why I'm asking you about what you're doing with your brand, because you've got so many ways in my head that you could go with it. You could go massive. You could build legacy.
We'll have to have a proper chat with it.
There's a lot of money to be made from brand once you get to this level. It's how you do it.
Yeah, that's probably one thing I could do with some help with, really.
Mate, always open for. I love business, so I love business the way you love bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding the way you love bodybuilding. So that's all good.
yes, love it. You made some good points there, though. Really good points. But do you know what? Like, I do stuff like that without even thinking about it, really.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't have the intuition that you have. So this is what I do for my mentoring. Is like a lot of people literally have zero idea what to do, so I actually have to lay it out for them. So I spend my time looking at guys like yourself, going, "How has he become successful?" And I go, "Okay, he does this, which does this, which does." You just go, "I do this because it works," and intuitively you know that it works. It's like someone that can come into the gym and just understand how to like row properly, and it hits their back and like, "How did you work? How did you do that?" It's like they're born like it. You've got the brain to be able to work it out, which other people don't. So when I try and help people, I try and get them to understand the nuances of what you do that actually get you to where you are and lay it out.
It's quite interesting, actually. There's no wonder you like it so much. It's like psychology into it as well.
It is. All marketing is applied psychology. It's basically like you're understanding. So basically, as a seller, a marketer, a coach, a gym owner, you have to understand what it is that makes your potential client base tick. You have to find out what their problem is. Basically say you can solve it and then show them content that makes them believe it. What objections might they have? Why might they not trust you? And half the time they don't even know why they don't trust you. It's because they haven't seen you with a client. They don't know what you do. They don't see your process. That's another thing that people don't do either. It's like people go, because like you've just rightly said, online coaching has come about probably more than ever in the last year and a half, 2 years. It's gone bang, especially COVID and shut down lockdown. Most people aren't educated as to what an online coach does. So
my mum still thinks that honestly, she thinks I don't work. She thinks I don't do it. Genuinely,
don't have a proper job.
I swear to you, the mum still thinks like, so what have you been doing all day? Like, you've got all this time in your hands. I'm like, Mum, you've got no idea. Like, she's like, oh, you mean to see clients? I'm like, yeah, I've been to see my clients. Like, I've just flown over to America a couple of times today. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, she's nuts. But,
so like showing your process is like a massive thing. Why I always think just get a camera. It doesn't even need to be like you don't need to have a videographer. Just get your camera out and actually educate people on what your service actually is, how it provides a solution to someone's problem. So even if you've got a check-in system, show what you're doing on it. Like, show how
I'm
it
actually
works.
doing that today.
Right, okay.
I'm actually doing that today.
Because then people go, oh, I get how he's going to solve my problem. He's not just saying it. Always like this trust gap, shrink. And there's all these little things that you can do, and I'm like, right, I put myself, so I look at your business and go, okay, do all this and this. What more could someone possibly need to see to then just bite the bullet and go for it? Because there's always something that's still on the line. And if you can do that without actually physically talking to that person, that's when you have scalability. Things can go bang. That's when you start running ads. You can start pushing things massive. That's what you can look at next as well. Like, especially on your YouTube below, like, really hyping that up. And like, there's loads of ways you can run this. But like, I wanted to see today, for one, learn a lot about you. Two, I'm quite impressed with what you're doing, and I'm always interested in meeting people who do really well. So like, and also, how does prep affect your business? Like your energy, 2 weeks out, does it drop? Can you still do and function the same?
Prep makes my fucking business.
Even like final weeks?
Final weeks.
Seriously?
Even on the day of the show.
How do you do that?
Can't explain it to you, mate. But you know, on prep, I've got more energy and my brain works better. For some reason, it's fucking weird. But like, when I'm dead on my feet, I'm more switched on. So I work better. This is why I prefer to compete like at least once a year. Because throughout that block, when I'm in prep, my productivity goes through fucking roof.
But even like the final
the final weeks, mate, yeah.
Because this is the only thing stopping me from wanting to compete. It's like whenever I hit like that last bit, you know, where it's like, okay, we go from like really good beach body to show condition.
You should never really feel that way. So
here we go.
throughout my day,
Maybe get coached out.
Listen, throughout my day, right? At the minute I'm waking up at 5:30, go to bed at 9:30.
Yeah.
Very soon I'll probably be going to bed at like 9 and waking up at 5.
Yeah.
My energy is top up until about 5-6 o'clock. But by
Really?
then,
That long?
but by then, everything's fucking ticked off.
You're done.
And like everything's the first 4 or 5 hours out of my day, all my work's fucking blasted. All of it. Because I'm like double productive compared to when I'm in off season. So for me, like what I can get done in that first interval of waking up so much earlier, mate, it's fucking through the roof, mate.
Yeah.
Through the roof. And that kind of has a carryover throughout. So
You're very lucky then.
yeah, I just think it's more the routine side, and like I'm super regimented year round, but it's a lot harder in off season because you're a bit more sluggish.
Yeah.
The second I stop feeling sluggish, I'm just fucking going. My brain functions better. You start thinking, coming up with ideas. This is why I like to prep. Like last year in prep, I was fucking busy. I was a lot busier than ever, and I managed it. So I've got 26 people doing the same show as me.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll handle that easy. I'll enjoy that.
26?
Yeah, and I think she's got 25
Mate,
as well.
he document the fuck out of that.
50
Document
people.
behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
like,
everything, mate.
how you managing to coach
I've
that?
got 2 videographers, mate. We've got 2 videographers on now. We've got him and Josh Shelby on it.
No, smash it. No one can do that.
Yeah.
No one can do that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Like, I bet if you follow guys like Brandon Hardbody, for example, he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Like him or hate him, he has built a following based on like a very high conviction of people feeling like they probably know who he is. That's why Netflix series are good. They tell a story over a long period of time. You can't do that on Instagram anywhere near as you can, as well as you can on YouTube. So if you're trying to build brand legacy, YouTube, which I know you do well.
That's what I've got planned with him now.
Yeah.
So I want to do like
I'm just making sure your contract stays renewed.
I'm doing like a build-up series and like a proper behind the scenes for Arnold, basically for my own competing and the clients as well. Because we've got so many people doing it, like, we've got to do it. So that'll be quite cool.
Yeah, you're now a content producer, not a coach.
Yeah.
That's the way I think of my like way I have to shift. And as you take a backseat out, you just become the face of it. Right? You're the influence of the business, and then you have everyone doing the components within it.
Yeah, that's something I spoke to Charlie about. Like my dream, ultimately, really, like I never really want to step away from coaching because I really love coaching. Like, I never coached for the financial side of things.
Yeah. Same with me.
I coached because I loved it, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I could have done different things that would have probably arguably won the same income, especially back in the day when the money wasn't there. But I still stuck it out. So it's like, for me, like, I never really want to scale back with coaching. But what I want to do ultimately is scale right back so I can basically say, right, I'm working with so many people at the minute, which I never really work with above really 100 people at a time, because for what I do, that would mean sitting in office for 8
I've
hours
seen the way
plus.
you do it, especially with the voice notes and everything else. A lot, yeah.
So I won't be able to do that, especially because it's not just checking, it's form clicks, it's everything else, and then it's like aftercare as well. I just won't have the time. So for me, like in the ideal world, we'd be scaling back to like 50, but that 50 would get fucking legit push. But then again, with that 50, it's finding the 50 gems that are going to give me the 100%. Do you know what I mean? That would be the hardest thing as well. But I think over time, over the next couple of years, I'll be able to do that, because then that way I have more time to do content. I have more time to improve my own education and stuff like that with it. Because at the moment, like I'm always doing a certain course. Like at the minute, I'm doing JP University with like John Jewett and stuff.
He's doing well.
Yeah, and it's sick.
He's doing
That
really
course is going is unbelievable. It's
Really
fucking
good.
sick.
I've heard good things about it.
Great. So for me, that would be the dream, because then I can do my coaching, which I fucking love. Off the back of that, I've got more time to do whatever I want with YouTube. But not only that, I can do certain courses, I can do stuff that's going to improve me as well. Do you know what I mean? But still be able to hit the goals that I've got financially and in business. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, you're going to do very well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Just getting there, innit? Time, that's all it takes, isn't it?
Well,
Time.
it's time, but you're doing it at a very... if you look at how quickly you've done things, I bet it's way quicker than you ever thought you would. You're 27?
Yeah. So, should be alright, see what happens. I've always shown like something where I really detail it all, and they're like the more, they're thankful for it, and then they stick to it, and then they
So like, I wouldn't worry at the moment with regards to that transition. What you're going to do is you're just going to kill some dead weight. You're then going to obviously increase at a great rate because your marketing's better again, back on form. And like, if you can always refine, if you're finding certain clients are dropping off for particular reasons, see if you can find out what those issues are and like your preliminary questions. If there's certain things you're noticing, like, are you going on holiday? Like, is that your main reason? Which means they're probably going to stop in a month's time. Like, you know,
so I want to refine like the checking form as well, because I feel like there's things I'm potentially missing on the checking form, which if I knew, I could sort and deal with. So
just put a group chat.
yeah, I've got all the questions listed.
Send it straight over.
Alex there,
Put it on. We can put it up with it.
and I reckon I'll be able to either get rid of the shit ones earlier, which I'm happy to do. If I get rid of them on my accord, I'm not arsed. Because when they sneak up on you 4 weeks later and go, "Oh, the payment's bounced 3 times, I'm just going to fucking leave it." And say, well, come on, realistically. So I'd rather get rid of them on my
Check
accord.
it, get them over ASAP.
Yeah.
Just buy them over and change. It's fine.
So, right.
Do this bit. Every year, it's like being constantly outside, renovate, make sure everything moves out, so it's dark, Like, the easy thing for me is I just come up, I don't do the work, but I make sure everyone's being done what it's done, and I check all the properties.